Hi, I'm Stephanie J. Block.
And I'm Mary Lee Fairbanks.
Welcome to Season 3 of Stages Podcast,
where we continue to bring creation and connection to center stage.
Look at Dimples McGee. Look at your dimples.
My dimples are very big. I know.
They're so beautiful.
I only have one. I have one on
you
my
have
left
one?
side. And my father had one on his right side. And so when I was little, he said, when you were born, I took my left one off and I gave it to you.
Oh,
that's really cute. Yeah, my boyfriend has just one, but mine are like very intense on both sides. I don't know.
Right.
Tiler Peck has been dancing since the age of 7. She's a principal ballet dancer with the New York City Ballet and has danced with them for 18 years. She performed the title role in the Aarons and Flaherty musical Little Dancer at the Kennedy Center and has been on Broadway with On the Town and The Music Man, which she performed in at the age of 11. She has performed Clara in the Radio City Christmas Spectacular. She was named 30 Under 30 Hollywood and Entertainment by Forbes magazine and has received many honors in the dance world. She's appeared in movies and TV shows, including John Wick, Donnie Darko, Catfish, Tiny Pretty Things, and the documentary Ballet Now. Please welcome Tiler Peck. Tiler Peck to stage, please. Tiler, can you please come to stage?
Hi, Tyler.
Hello.
How are you?
We're well. How are you? Thank you for your time.
Oh, I'm so happy to be on this.
I'm in awe of you and
I
your
know.
discipline, and the expression of dance is just a language that brings me to tears. I know a lot of people always say, oh gosh, I wish I was a singer and could express myself. When I see the discipline of ballet, that's when I sit back and I know the work that it takes. Not personally, as you can tell by my whole shape and form and all that, but when I see that body in motion telling a story like that, it is awe-inspiring to me. So you're from California, 1, so you're a California sister. Hello.
Hello.
2, your mama owned a dance studio. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Was she a dancer as well?
Yeah, she was a dancer, and then she opened a studio when she was, right out of college. She opened a dance studio and she taught at a high school dance as well. And so I was kind of babysat in her studio and started dancing kind of as soon as I could walk because I was just surrounded by it.
Yeah. Did you understand really what it was going to take as you were getting older, or was it still this magical Valentine type thing? And then you learned along the way going, oh, this also costs a lot. It gives a lot, but it also costs a lot, right?
I think I didn't really realize it. I mean, I was always dancing. I was even dancing like at home in the house, like in the kitchen. And I just, I tried soccer and I would dance down the field. So my mom was like, clearly you wanted to be a dancer. And I lived in Bakersfield, and my hometown, it's not small, but my mom realized quickly, like at age 6, that she wanted me to be surrounded by and pushed by more talented dancers. So I started from a very young age kind of having to understand that I needed to sacrifice a lot, because I would have to leave school at like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. And my grandmother.
But really, is that a sacrifice, leaving school at 12 o'clock? I think most kids would not see that as a sacrifice. Oh, okay. Most kids would be like, woohoo, I'm out at noon.
Actually, that's true. I do love school, so I was sad to leave, but it was more just like traveling 3 hours to get to, my mom found me the best dance studio. And I did that for like 5 or 6 years, where I would go 3 hours there and 3 hours back 5 days a week. I realized that it took a lot like early on, but I don't think I realized like how hard it is on the body until I got older.
Yeah.
How did Stro find you at 11 years old to be in Music Man?
So there was an audition in New York, and in California, I feel like everybody, well, not everyone, but I grew up with an agent, and my agent said, there's an audition for a dancer / singer. And my mom was like, you're crazy. We're not going to New York to audition. And somehow I said to her, but Mom, what if I never get this opportunity again and you didn't let me go? And she's like, okay, now I guess we have to go because that I would feel horrible.
Well
So she's
played.
like, we'll just make it a trip and we won't put anything on it and we'll just have fun. And I don't think she ever expected me to actually get the job, but that's how it happened. She found me in the audition.
Do you have sense memory of what that audition was or what it felt like as an 11-year-old to be backstage and that energy? What did that feel like?
I remember it so well because I was coming into the show a year after it had been open. So I was replacing someone and I was replacing an 18-year-old who was playing an 11-year-old.
Oh,
So when
wow.
I went to the audition, everybody was much older than me. I was actually like an 11-year-old auditioning for an 11-year-old part. And so I remember thinking I felt kind of out of place. And I remember her associate was the one who was doing all of the preliminary auditions. And I could tell she really liked me, but I wasn't great at tap. And I know that Stro obviously loves tap. And there was some, and so she kept saying to me, go over there in the corner and work on the tap section because I could do the rest. And I think she really wanted me to do well. And then Stro walked in, I remember very clearly, and that was it. But yeah.
For our listeners who don't know, it's Susan Stroman.
Oh
That's what
yes.
we're talking about.
Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right. We
I'm
were a
trying
little
to think.
familiar or cheeky about
So
the
people
name.
might not know who
Yes.
Stro is. But did
Yes.
you have friends your own age? I mean, it seems like you were always being shuffled off into training and dancing. And did you ever sort of sit at home and look out the window at the kids in the neighborhood and say, I just want to be out there at the ice cream truck kicking the soccer ball around? Or did you not even sort of pay attention to any of that and just immerse yourself in the dance world?
No, I think my parents are really great at making sure that I kind of had as normal of a life as I could. So I still have the same best friend since first grade, even
Oh, that's
today.
nice.
And, my mom would always, I had a lot of like, parties at my house where meaning like she would just let me have friends over because sometimes I couldn't make the school dances or
Mm.
things like that. So I think it really grounded me and I'm really grateful that she like really made the effort to make me feel like I had as normal of a childhood as I could have.
Yeah.
Love that. Hey, at one gala, I was gifted the task of introducing a segment of On the Town with these gorgeous ballet dancers. And I'm backstage going, Balanchine, Balanchine, Balanchine. I get up there with my microphone. And I was like, ladies and gentlemen, the choreography of Balanchine. And I knew immediately because, of course, I said it with such authority and like I knew exactly what I was talking about. And I went, son of a biscuit. So I'm pretending like I know what that sort of technique is, but can you explain to our listeners what a Balanchine technique looks like or what made that choreography special?
I think Balanchine was known for like pushing the limits. So it was always like about speed, how fast you can move, how far can you jump. So it was just about kind of taking it to the next level. Nothing was underneath itself. And yeah, I guess as a Balanchine dancer, I'm known mostly for my musicality and my speed at which I can move. And it's natural to me because it's what we do every single day. But I think to a lot of people who are trained in not that style, to see somebody moving that quickly or with that much energy and athleticism is quite different from maybe their training.
Yeah. When you are working with a choreographer, is there ever this sort of inner dialogue that's like, you want me to do what? Can you do that? Or do you find that most choreographers can actually do their own choreography? Because I know in musical theater, let's do a triple into, a mid splits. And then I'm going to want you guys to pop up and then you're going to jump on your knees. And we all kind of look at them and go, are you going to do that? But have you found that a lot of choreographers have either done the movement with which they're trying to put on your gorgeous bodies, or is it pretty much a beautiful design in their head and they want you to facilitate what their dream is?
I think it's a mix of both. I mean, one of our main choreographers at the ballet is Justin Peck now, and he does most of his stuff in sneakers. And clearly, some of the stuff that he does for me, I'm in point shoes. So while he is doing it, he's doing it in sneakers. So,
Right.
when I get it in a point shoe, sometimes I'm like, it's possible. And other times I'm like, but Justin, that's not actually possible. I mean, we practically grew up together. I mean, people think we're related because of our last name and we're both from California.
Yep.
So, and we got into SAB, which is the school that leads into New York City Ballet together. So we've practically been really close since we were like 14 years old.
Wow.
So it's been wonderful, I think, to like grow with him in the same company, you know, like I was in one of his first ballets and now I was in his, you know, latest creation that was a full length. So it's been really fun to kind of have similar career paths together.
Okay, I juggle a lot. I mean, who doesn't? It's like Steph's always saying, the juggle is real, but our sponsor, Neuro Gum and Mints, is an antidote. It helps energize, calm, and focus you whenever you need it. They have these different formulas, Energy and Focus, which is formulated with natural caffeine and B vitamins, Health and Vitality formula, which is immune boosting, Calm and Clarity formula, which is developed with lots of vitamins and scientific things that I don't understand. I can't tell you about the science, but what I can tell you is that Neuro gives you a clean burst of energy whenever you need it without the jitters that coffee and energy drinks can give you. It was developed by former athletes who train at the highest levels. They created this clean, balanced energy that you can have anytime. And it tastes really good. There's like mint and cinnamon. It's delicious. There is one problem, and that is my teenage son. He walked into my office. He said, "Oh my God, you have Neuro," and he took it all. He's an athlete. He's really into this stuff. He took it. But luckily for me, there is a link below that gives Stages podcast members 20% off their order. It's tryneurogum.com/stages. Try NEURO gum.com/stages, or just click the link below. Stages podcast is sponsored by Strip Makeup. I tend not to be very complicated with skincare routines. Truly, if it's too many steps, you're going to lose me. Good news for me, I found Strip Makeup. Strip is the world's most advanced skincare forward cleanser. It removes makeup, but at the same time, it hydrates and balances and replenishes your skin. It doesn't prep your skin for skincare. It is the skincare. One step. It's made with 0 parabens and phthalates and doesn't have any of the 1,400 banned EU ingredients. Strip's skin perfecting formulas remove makeup, dirt, and oil while nourishing your face and delivering a dewy, hydrated look. Strip packs high-powered cleansing and makeup removing formulas into a variety of all these different kinds of systems. They have wipes or melts or jellies, so you can find the strip that feels just right for you. My favorite, the whipped coconut makeup remover. It's like fluffy and soft, like somebody whipped together pearls and silk and cotton balls or something. It's really fabulous and it smells so good. And it leaves my skin feeling really nourished. That one's my fave. So if you want to try it for yourself, go to stripyourmakeup.com/stages. There's a link below and you get 25% off when you use that link. So go to stripyourmakeup.com/stages or click the link below for 25% off and dewy looking skin. And now back to our episode. Do you have a dream role that you would want to do? One that you haven't done yet that you're just dying to sink your point shoes into?
I think a lot of the dream roles come from maybe reps that we don't do at the New York City Ballet. You know, we don't do that many full lengths. I've done pretty much all the full lengths, which are the story ballets that I can do here. But, you know, we don't do Giselle. We don't do Manon, which are some of the full length ballets that I think every ballerina wants to dance. So I guess those could be dream roles for me.
Is there a why as to why the New York City Ballet doesn't do those particular ballets?
I think Balanchine, most of his ballets were not stories. I mean, he was this genius that created all these masterpieces that weren't stories. And so I think over the years, we had people come in and do, you know, like Sleeping Beauty, Swan Lake, those Romeo and Juliet. I've gone to dance all of those at New York City Ballet. But I think that's why, you know, American Ballet Theater, which is right across from us at Lincoln Center, they do mostly story ballet. So I think that it's a nice contrast to have the two companies kind of doing different things.
Now, when you're doing a musical theater piece like Little Dancer, how does that differ, the whole process of it all and the performance of it all?
I think the hardest thing is doing the same thing 8 shows, which is very different from how we are at the ballet. Like I would say, I think the dancing might be harder that I do at the ballet, but if I had 7 shows that week, it's, you know, I'm doing 3 different ballets. So it's not doing the same step every single time. And I found I found the acting was different every night, no matter what it was. If you in
Mm.
Little Dancer, no matter doing it the same, but the same kicking the same leg, you know what I mean? And not that I found very tricky. And I thought, how do these Broadway people do this, dance wise?
A lot of the physical therapists will relay that to us. You're on a rake stage,
Mm.
you're doing the same movement, like you just said, with the same body part over and over, upwards of 300 to 500 times.
Yeah.
That wear and tear,
Yeah.
it's not meant to be that way. So of course these injuries are going to happen. But
Yeah.
I love that you brought it up as a dancer who can do things far beyond anybody's wildest dreams.
Yeah. Dancers amaze me though, because I remember I was doing a show once and this guy came out, he would jump out from the wings and he'd do a split and he'd land and he broke his foot and kept dancing through the whole opening number and then got off and then got his understudy on. And I thought, if that were me, I would have sat down on the floor and cried until they dropped the curtain and dragged me up. I mean, I don't know how dancers dance through a lot of the pain that they feel. It's amazing to me. Just amazing.
I think there is adrenaline for sure, because I know even when I have like little injuries, as soon as you get on stage, like I don't feel them. But with the really serious ones, it's when you feel them with the adrenaline that you're like, okay, this is next
We've got
level.
an issue here.
There's
Yeah.
something here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even for us, little musical theater moments, you come home, you're like, look at this bruise. Where
Yeah.
did I get
Yes.
this? Like the size of my fist. Where did I get that? So even that alone, you're in the story, you're doing the thing, your
Yeah.
attention is elsewhere. And it's not until you kind of decompress and the normalcy of the day kicks in that you recognize all of the different bumps and bruises. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just means that we're really in the moment, right? And we're not like thinking about dinner or this or that. Maybe some people do, but I think when you're really in it, you don't feel things. And then all of a sudden, same thing. I'll like go to the physical therapist the next morning. She's like, "Where did you get that huge bruise on your knee?" And I'm like, "Actually, I don't know where, where, where that happened."
So what does your self-care look like? What does body care look like for you?
Yeah, I know. It's typically during the season, it's, resting to make sure I can do the show the next day. So I'm always taking Epsom salt baths. I'm always lying on the ground, elevating so my back can decompress. I'm always putting a heating pad on my back or rolling out my calves. So a lot of my evenings are spent taking care of my body so that I can dance at the high level the next day. Which I know, like for singers, sometimes you guys go on vocal rest, right? And you're not like going out after the show and talking a lot so that you can save your voices for the next day. So
I hope you understand that when at the beginning of this interview, and I said the discipline of a dancer, I really am just in awe of that, because it's also in conjunction with how your body grows. I would find that as a young woman, depending on what your physique may be like. Now, granted, there are repertory companies and dance companies that have all different body shapes and forms. But as a principal ballerina, there is an understanding of what that interpreter needs to look like, what that body needs to look like. Did you know that when you were going through puberty and the body is changing, where they're like, oh my, this could go differently for me depending on how I develop?
Well, I think especially because I got in so young, like typically now dancers get in like when they're 20. I got it in when I was 15 and I was principal by 20. So I think my body could have gone a lot of different ways. Like, you're so different at 15. I hadn't even gone through puberty, and who knows what my body was going to turn into. And that was kind of a chance they took on me because, at 15, you don't really know what it's going to look like or how I'm going to kind of mature.
And are you the youngest or one of the youngest that's ever gotten in and been principal at 20?
Definitely, yes. Like, I think that when Balanchine was living, there were these it was called baby ballerinas during his time that were like 15, my age. But definitely in the last 20, 30 years, I would definitely think that I'm pretty much
one of the
one of the
youngest.
youngest. Yeah.
I was just at the Kennedy Center and we were at the Opera House. And speaking about bodies, after about a month's time, I noticed my calves were tight, my shins were not feeling great. And I thought, okay, this opera floor must be concrete. And we just kind of laid down, is it called Mylar?
Marley.
Marley.
Yes.
Marley.
What is it? Marley.
Marley. It's sort of like that black, almost very thin rubber type stage. But as a dancer, is there a particular theater there that they have you all in where there is a spring floor, or do you travel with a floor? Like, how does that work? Because there's no way you could do what you do on the concrete floor of which we just did what we did.
No, when we go to the Kennedy Center, it's at the Opera House and it's the same thing. And we always know it's so hard. But what's funny is we have one of the hardest stages at New York City Ballet. When any of my friends go and dance at our company, they're like, how do you dance on that floor?
Wow.
And we've tried for so long to get them to change it. It's like still the same floor from when Balanchine was living. And it's like, okay, we need to update
Oh my
our
gosh.
facilities. Yeah, so I think we have one of the hardest floors like there is, and we're the New York City Ballet. So that's not ideal.
Now, do
But
they feel like, hey, if you can dance on this floor, then you can dance anywhere? Is that kind of the methodology about it all?
Yeah, I think it's like, well, people danced like this when Balanchine was around, so why can't you? And it's
Because
like,
we have
well,
new inventions.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got
exactly.
springs. Things have changed. Times have changed.
We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. I want to go back to 2019 for a second, if we can, because I know you had a terrible injury in 2019, and then recovering from that injury, you went straight into the pandemic. So you didn't dance professionally for quite a long time. And so you started teaching dance lessons on Zoom from your mother's kitchen. And I want to talk a little about that. What I admire about it is that you took a very challenging time and you organically spun it into something that brought you joy, which then brought joy to the masses. And so many people started logging on. I think I heard you say there were like 10,000 people at one point that had logged on for a class or something. So talk a little about that, because I think that's a really admirable quality in you.
Yeah, I had just gotten back from an injury. So my injury, I was out for about 9 months. Honestly, I didn't know if I was going to be able to come back and dance. My thing that I ended up having with my neck was a herniated disc. And I think that it was just stress over time. There wasn't one thing where I literally just woke up one day and I couldn't move. And, you know, when they saw the images, it's like, this doesn't just happen overnight. I think it was like years of wear and tear. And then finally I must have done a step that just took it like one step too far.
And your body's so accustomed to discomfort and pain and moving through all that you just kept going and kept going.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's just a stiff neck. And it wasn't anything that the physical therapist couldn't like help. And then finally one day I was like, okay, I can't even like move my head just for like life. Like something is weird. And I was in so much pain. So I knew the difference between like a stiff neck and what I had. I was already just super grateful that I was back on the stage and doing something that doctors told me I would never be able to.
Wow.
And then about 2 months after that happened, the world shut down and I was already like, okay, well, I just took off 9 months. It's not like I'm 15 anymore. I can't really, this is like a pivotal point in my career and I can't really take off another year. So I just automatically had to start taking, I said I have to keep taking class, even though our studios and the company is shut down. So I was just like, I'm going to do class every single day in my parents' kitchen. And my mother teaches at my sister's a principal of a high school and she's the dance teacher at my sister's school. And so she was like, hey, why don't you teach class today? You'll just like log on and surprise them and you'll be like the guest teacher. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give myself class. So I'll just do it with them. And then I thought, well, I bet there's a bunch of people around the country that can't take class. So maybe I'll just put it on Instagram, like do a live, even though I had never done one. But I'm like, I guess this is what I do. I just hit the button.
Hit this live button. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'll just hit the live button and see what happens. And I thought, oh, maybe there'll be like 5 people in class. And then I didn't even know what numbers mean. And yeah, like the first day there was like 15,000.
Oh
And
my
I was like,
gosh.
I didn't know what that number meant. And then obviously I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't know. People were like, we can't see your legs because there's comments going. I was like, I don't even know how to turn the comments off. I've literally never done this.
I just hit the button. I don't know what's
Yeah.
supposed to happen.
Guys, I came up with a clever title, even though it was 2 years ago. Ton do's, ton don'ts by Tiler Peck.
Yeah, so I did that for, I would say 9 months. I did a class every single day for people, for myself and for people. And it would be an hour long. And I did it every day of the week. And it was something that got me through the pandemic. I felt like I really connected to like my audience. I felt like they could get to know me instead of just me as a ballerina that they watch videos. I felt like they could see my personality. My mom was like around. She would do class with me sometimes. It was very much just like a free for all thing that became really fun for everybody.
Yeah, we know when you get up and move. Is it serotonin? You know more than I, Mary Lee, but all of the good stuff starts making your mood shift. So in a time that could have been real dark, real sad, real heavy, people are getting up for an hour and just moving, and that can change the whole course of your day. That's very admirable for sure.
It changed mine too because it's hard to get motivated, I think, day after day by yourself, like not knowing where the end result was going to go. Like I didn't have oh, we're coming back on this date. And so I think if I didn't have people counting on me in those classes, I probably would have, missed a few. I would have been like, I won't do it today. But I knew that I had people that were looking forward to this. So every day that got me up. It got me up and doing class. And I came back and I was ready. Like as soon as the company came back, I was the first one that was ready to perform because I had been training the whole
This is
pandemic.
so amazing.
We think of a theater like a Broadway house. A big Broadway house may hold 1,700 people. Do you know how many are in the audience for the ballet?
I don't know why like 2,500 is coming in my head, but I could be totally off. I don't know.
But then when you show up on Instagram, 15,000 people. So just the sort of reach that you had from this smartphone. I also know that you are amplifying ballet on TikTok as well. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I
Yes.
still feel like I'm getting used to and still don't really know how to really do it. But
I am so happy to hear you say that because I try to get on TikTok and I feel like I'm 100 years old. I'm like, well, I'm so old. I can't figure it out. So thank God you can't figure it out either, Tyler. I feel much better.
Yeah, I'm like, it's kind of like Instagram. I didn't really know what I was doing either. And then it just somehow you use it more and you get better at it. But for TikTok, yeah, I was like, at first I thought, oh, I'm not going to do these like little dances. But then when I get my girlfriends together at the ballet and we do them on point, it feels very natural for me. It's not just like me in front of my camera, like at home. Like I have to have my friends around me.
Yeah.
And we love making point versions of the dances.
How do you choose the content? Just on what is the most popular that week, whatever dance trend is on that week?
I mean, obviously I pick like, which ones are trending, but at the same time, I don't do the ones that do not seem like my personality. Like it could be the biggest trend and somebody send it to me and I'm like, that's just not me. I'm not going to like grind or do this. Like it has to be something that I like to watch and listen to.
Other than ballet, what other kind of dance do you love? Like, do you tango? Do you swing dance? I heard you say you didn't really love tap dance, but what else do you love to do?
Well, I grew up doing all kinds of dance and actually ballet was my least favorite. I was really good at jazz and hip hop and lyrical. Like I thought that was the route I was going to go in. And it wasn't until I did the Music Man where I started taking at the school that leads into the company that I fell in love with ballet. I just always did it because my mom made me, because she said, if you want to do the other styles, you still have to have your technique. So thank God she made me do that. But, yeah, like
always listen to your mother, Tyler.
Yeah.
Always.
I know. It's true. She was right. And I love so much that I became a ballerina, but had you asked my like 6-year-old self, I probably would have started laughing if you had asked me if I was going to be a ballerina.
As a young person, it's probably hard for you to think like what would be next because you're right in the middle of an amazing career, right? I mean, you are reaching the heights that a lot of people just dream of. But when you think about 10 years from now and you want to start moving into something new, what would it be? Would you want to be a teacher? Would you want to get into the production and change the way things are done, like get new floors and the like
Or do you
like
choreograph as well?
yeah, what would
I
you see yourself
do.
doing?
Yeah, I just choreographed for the Boston Ballet and I'm getting ready to choreograph for a company in London. So I think choreography is definitely a path. I also curated and directed like a show that just went at City Center and now is beginning to tour the country. We just got back from Sadler's Wells in London. And so I think that
Really?
I really think that maybe one day like being a director is of interest to me. And I
Mm.
like, as a dancer, and you can probably relate to this, that, we're always being kind of I'm always used to being choreographed on and told where to go, and this is the rep you're dancing. And so when I curate and direct these other shows, it's really nice to put together what I think the audience would want to see and the dancers that I want to put together and picking the rep. And that really interests me because I feel like I'm able to kind of show my voice a little bit more as opposed to just being like an instrument and showing somebody else's. So maybe that maybe that would be another course that I'll take.
I want to know what was the title of your show that was just at City Center?
So the one at City Center was like a year from now, and it was called Artists at the Center. It was their first time. It was the first one they did, and it's where they pick an artist to put together a show. And so I got to do the first one ever there, and I was really scared and honored and all the above. So that was called Artists at the Center, Tiler Peck. And I turned that into a show called Turn It Out with Tiler Peck and Friends. And that's what I'm now touring, that same
Hmm.
show. Yeah.
How do
And
you
we,
face fear? That's a big question. But literally, you're 11 and now you're on Broadway. That's a big thing for an 11-year-old.
yeah.
You are the first one to do this new program, Artists at the Center. How do you face fear? Is there an inner dialogue that goes through your head, or is it just a practice that you are meant to say yes and walk on through?
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes from how I was brought up. Like my mom and dad, I don't know, they kind of always just jumped us into kind of everything. And whenever we chose something, we were supposed to do 110% or not do it at all. That was just how I grew up. It was like, don't waste a spot that somebody else might want to have or need to have if you're not going to really be full force. And so for me, a lot of it is like saying yes, but I also love a challenge. Like, I do not like to put myself into a position that I already know I'm going to be good at something or I
Mhm.
know this is going to be easy. Like, a challenge really excites me. And that's what my love for ballet was. Like, I felt like a jazz dancer trying to be a ballerina. Like, I called it a jazz arena. Like, I felt like that when I first started at the School of American Ballet, which is the feeding school into New York City Ballet. But I was so determined that I was like, no, I'm going to work so hard and I'm going to become a ballerina and not have people think like, oh, who's this jazz dancer that's trying to do ballet? And I think that that's why I became a ballerina because it wasn't the easiest thing for me. I could have easily, I think, stayed in LA and had maybe a nice career as a backup dancer or a commercial dance. I think that would have been a quite easy career for me, but ballet was the hardest. And I thought, okay, I'm going to work really hard and get there.
Do you think that's what makes you really special? Because there are hints of the jazz and all the other things that you can do instead of just having the narrow tunnel vision that led other ballerinas just down that path. Your path is informed with other techniques. Do you think that makes you better or
Most definitely. I think
mm,
that I thought that it was the wrong thing, but I think that that's what made me stand out. Like when I was 15 and maybe why they chose me in the company because they could
mm,
see I could do a bunch of things. And we have so many new choreographers come in, and I feel like I was always picked to be in their ballets because they could see that I could move differently.
mm.
So whenever a new choreographer would come, I'd pretty much always be in their ballet. So it I'm so glad that I did it the way I did it. It definitely wasn't planned, obviously, but I think it gives me a more well-rounded career at the New York City Ballet for sure.
You
Oh,
said
that's so
commercial
great.
dance, and immediately I got nervous because as a California girl, I would either be at Debbie Reynolds Studios
Yes.
or Burbank Studios.
Yes.
Can you see yourself auditioning and waiting in line and filling out all the size and name cards and those
Oh
hallways?
yeah.
I can still smell those hallways.
Yeah. That's how I grew up, Millennium. I don't even know if that exists anymore. But
I
the
don't know.
Edge, yeah,
The
all
Edge
sorts
for
of things.
sure. Yes.
Yeah.
But talking about facing fears and jumping into something new, have you ever heard of this group called Mind Leaps? We interviewed them in our first season. It was founded by this woman, Rebecca Davis. She's quite amazing.
I don't know my leaves.
So she went after the genocide in Rwanda. There were a lot of kids that weren't going to school. So she went and she found some of these kids and she sort of brought them into this dance class and got them to love dance. And then she said, "Oh, do you want to keep dancing?" And they said, "Well, yeah, yeah." And they, "Well, then you need to go back to school and we'll help you with your schoolwork." And she brings in tutors and she brings them meals. And she's just this incredible spirit. Misty Copeland went with her one
I
summer.
was just
And
going to say
yeah,
that, Mary Lee.
Misty Copeland went
Oh,
and taught for a summer there with her. And so it's this wonderful program and amazing what she's doing with these kids. It's a cool program.
How they flourish and how they express
Mhm.
themselves and how they gain agency over their body. And it's done from everywhere like Rwanda or
Mhm.
young women who are even able to walk down the street by themselves. They need to have a
Escort.
chaperone
Mhm.
that's a male, but then they get to these dance classes and they express themselves in these free flowing, beautiful ways.
Yeah.
Again, the organization is called Mind Leaps. It was life changing for us to see them
Yeah.
take class and to see their pride and their posture change because of these courses in this safe place
Mhm.
to be and dance and express. It was just gorgeous.
no, I would love that. I'm definitely gonna check it out as soon as we finish.
Yeah.
All right, we've arrived at the 5 questions, but just before, a word from our sponsors. Is there anything in your closet or a garment or piece of jewelry that holds such meaning to you that you will never get rid of it?
I have a ring that my father gave my mother and that I love wearing. I feel like whenever I wear it, it kind of, I don't know, I feel like it gives me some sort of superpower.
Nice.
And
I
and
love it.
and she gave it to me in a time where I had just gone through a personal I got divorced, and it was like I think I had kind of felt like, oh, like love was just like not good anymore, when you hit that point. And I think
Mhm.
that this was her way of showing me that, like, no, it is. And so it kind of helped me through a really hard time, and I love it so much every time I wear it.
Oh, that's
Beautiful.
sweet. Well, okay. If you could have any superpower, you'd wake up tomorrow morning with a superpower, what would it be?
Maybe to fly. I don't know. I think that
Mm.
would be kind of fun. I feel like it's very close to dancing, but like something we can't do. So it's like one step beyond what a partner can do with us.
A lot of
Mhm.
people say fly. A lot of people wanna
Really?
fly.
Mhm.
Huh.
Beach, mountains, or desert?
Beach.
Me too.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm with you
California.
on that. Yeah.
Even though raised inland, it's still the shore, beach, beach, beach.
Yes.
Okay, you've been arrested. You call your mom and dad to come and pick you up. What have you done to get yourself tossed in the clinker?
Oh my gosh.
Or what have they assumed you might have done to get yourself in the clinker?
Ugh, this is a hard question.
And listeners, she looks so innocent with these
Yeah,
dimples and
so
this
innocent.
radiant smile and her like finger tapping her nose. Oh my gosh, going to jail.
I think I probably would have said something. I don't know. I feel like I would have said something wrong to the wrong person. I think my mom is always telling me, like, can't you just hold it in? And I'm like, no. So I don't know what I would have said and who I would have said it to, but it would have been something like that.
All right. If you were a nail polish color, what's the color and what's the cheeky little name of that nail polish?
I know this one because I wear it, and it's called high maintenance.
And what's the color? Is it a red for high maintenance?
No, I
No.
love a red, but in the ballet, we can only have light pink. So I can only as soon as we go on break, I get dark colors, but my everyday is high maintenance. And I always like to say I'm mid maintenance. So I guess it's a little there.
Thank you so much. This was really sweet talking to you.
Totally delightful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All good
Thank
things.
you for having me. Thank you
you,
so much.
Tyler.
I'm big fans of you too. So it was really
Oh,
nice
you're
getting.
kind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
And now here's what struck a chord with us.
I really do. I go to the ballet and it is just a language that I like. I feel like I wear as a suit. I want to drip myself in it. I want to pretend that I could be that when I absolutely know there's just no way. Like I do believe that God will give you not only the talent if you work hard, but it has to match a certain faculty that allows you to do the craft, right? So when I do look at these beings that have the discipline, that can do all that physical stuff over and over again, is shocking to me that she knew at 6 to answer her mom, yeah, let's do it. I remember my mom when I was 5. She took me to the Brea Mall and she went downstairs to where the food court is. And in the middle of the food court was this ice skating rink. And I'm holding on to like the plexiglass that goes on the outside of the ice skating rink, watching these girls rehearse in their cute little short skirt, costumes. And my mom looks at me. She's like, "You want to do that?" And I wide-eyed looked up to her and said, "Yes, I want to do that." And she said, "For the rest of your life?" And I was all,
No, I just wanted to try it for a week.
Go to Corn Dog on a Stick and have a corn dog and cry because I couldn't do that anymore. But that
But why did it have to be for the rest of your life?
Because I'm learning that Tyler's parents are very similar to mine. It's 110% or we don't do it. So for me to even engage or to try, also with my family, we didn't have the sort of financial excess to just, okay, let's do tennis. Oh, you didn't like that? Okay, well, we'll try skiing. You didn't like that? Well, it was, if you're going to invest in something, I need you to want to do this for forever. So that just ice skating wasn't in the cards for me. But, of course, then singing was. But to have this little spirit at 5 or 6, have the question posed to her and her open up and say, yeah. And now, however many years later, 28 years later, 27 years later, she's still living that dream. That's just amazing to me.
Yeah. Dancers have a determination that I just don't understand.
I don't either.
And when people say, "Oh, can you dance?" I said, I would never insult dancers by saying that I can dance because I can move. That's all I can do. And there's something about how they're in their body. I mean, as an actor and a singer and a performer, you have to be in your body, but they're in their body in a different way that I can't really describe.
They do fly. When she said her superpower is flying, it's almost like they're suspending in the air, and that none of science makes sense because they are doing things that look like a superpower, truly.
Yeah.
And at the end of a ballet, of course, they take 19 curtain calls and your arms are tired. And that in and of itself, I'm like, I'm clapping and my arms are tired. I'm clapping for these people that just danced for 3 hours and my arms are tired. Holy cow.
God. So you never took any ice skating lessons? I guess it probably wasn't that big out there in California.
No, I didn't. I mean, do I ice skate? It's happy. It's fun, right? But yeah, Vivi is actually quite good at. She is, her hand-eye coordination is off the charts, and her awareness of body. I don't know if necessarily the root of a dancer, but her awareness of body at this age is really quite impressive to me.
And she's very strong kid.
Very strong.
Super strong kid.
Yeah. Oddly strong.
Michael said, "This kid's freakishly strong."
Yeah, she runs fast, all of the things. But again, my parenting technique is just different. I want her to take the lead and I will gently nudge and encourage from behind, but I'd like her to express interest in something first and then we'll lift her up. I think maybe as 2 actor, singer, performer parents, we don't want her just to fall in line with the family business,
right?
Because it's not an easy business. No. And We just want to make sure that it is truly an inspired choice, not a convenient, or this is what's available to me, so I'm going to go ahead and do it.
I think kids will tell you exactly what they want when they decide that they want it. I remember one time when Seb was little, he wasn't even, he's maybe 2. And I took him to an audition. They were looking for kids to be on the side of a toy box, like a picture of the kid, their face, whatever. So I brought him in. And he's sitting in the thing, and they're standing on their heads trying to get him to smile for the camera. They're waving little Elmos, and they're bouncing around the room, and they're doing silly things. And the whole time he just sat there completely straight faced, just nothing. And finally they were like, well, okay, thanks so much for coming in. And I said, okay. So I brought him downstairs. We went outside, and he goes, Mama. And I looked at him, and he went, and he gave me the biggest grin. And I said, okay, so you don't ever want to do that again? He goes, no. I go, okay, no acting for you, my friend.
Yeah.
He knew too. Do not tell me to smile. I am not your little monkey. I am, do not tell me what to do. And he wasn't going to have it. I was like, okay. He's so contrarian anyway. Seb is totally contrarian. So if everybody's smiling, Seb's not going to smile.
That's right.
When all the other kids play soccer, Seb decides he's going to box. Like that. He's just always been that way. Kids will show you exactly who they are. They'll show you.
What's that line in Chorus Line? Dance for grandma.
Yeah.
Dance for grandma. If you're not going to follow the dance for grandma, this business is not for you. No. That's exactly right. Exactly right.
No. I did a little figure skating when I was younger. I wasn't exceptional at it at all. And I think because I spent so much time in hockey rinks and growing up, I didn't last long for me. But yeah, I did my little bit of ice skating.
Oh, I wanted to chat a little bit about Little Dancer because that also was a Susan Stroman directed piece. Mm-hmm. And the composer lyricists are one of our favorite teams, Stephen Flaherty, Lynn Ahrens. And it's based on the Degas statue, Little Dancer of 14 Years. Yeah. Right. I don't know what the future of that piece might be, but what it's based on certainly sounds so beautiful and interesting,
Yeah. Yeah.
The pedigree of it is certainly enticing. I would really like to know where or if there is a future for it.
It was a while ago that was up.
I think you're right.
On stage. So I'm not really sure.
Isn't that something that you can have that sort of creative team behind a piece with the most incredible talent, and yet that doesn't ensure that it's going to have a long life?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think they're working on what's the newest thing they're working on? Knoxville, I think. They're so interesting, Lynn and Steven. And then they had that concert, the Ragtime concert after 25 years in New York, which was, incredible. I wish I could have been in that audience and seen that. But speaking of that, this is exciting. I'm going to be doing it in the Boston version, the Boston company with the BSO. And it's being directed.
Be doing Ragtime.
Yeah, so that's really exciting to be able to just sing that music again. To me, is so incredible.
Again, the themes are always so timely.
Yeah,
and it, as we always talk about, when art and humanity come together, all of those stories are so filled with love and relationships and humanity. Yeah, that's another score. I'm gonna weep. I'm gonna weep.
Why that show didn't, it have its full life is really, really sad. That show should still be running to this day. It's truly a masterpiece.
It is
just a masterpiece. And it's going to be directed by Jason Dannelly, who is Marin's husband, which is really lovely. So, and it's funny because when I did it before, I understudied Mother, and this time I'm understudying Emma Goldman. So getting old.
Times are a changing.
Times are changing. Getting old.
I'm tied in trolley. Wait for no man.
The old angry Russian lady. So that works. I'll take it.
You want to do this for the rest of your life?
All right. That's enough for now. I adore you. Oh my God. I love you too. Rest up and get back on the road.
All right, Chica. Talk to you soon.
Love you. Bye. Stages podcast is produced by Stephanie J. Block and Mary Lee Fairbanks in association with iHeartRadio. It can be heard on the iHeartRadio podcast and iHeartRadio Broadway or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Please join our cast. by signing up at stagespodcast.net, listening, sharing, and leaving a 5-star review. It all makes such a difference in getting the word out. Thanks for listening, and we will see you again soon.